Welcome back to another iiRcade Game Days. I'm your host, Michael, executive producer here at iiRcade. All right, so last week we did release system update 9.011.001. That's right. Make sure that you have power cycled your machine. You should be power cycling it anyway, but do make sure that you power cycle it, so turn it on and off. The moment that you turn it back on, you should see a prompt that says, do you want to update to 9.011.001? That's right, 9.11.1. So with that update, that adds a lot of different improvements to the system, so you definitely want to be sure that you're doing that, including connectivity between the server as well as the machine, so they talk a little bit better together essentially too. Some updates. It does update Warrior Blade Rastan Saga Episode 3 to the hard difficulty, as people were requesting by us for months and months when it first came out last year. So that's done now, along with some other features in there too. We glossed over it, or I'm going to gloss over it now. We talked a lot about it last week, so if you want to, go ahead and catch that video from last week as well. You'll see the playlist below for the game days, and you can find it there. So with that, it also did add the Lycon functionality. Lycon games are not quite available yet. Operation Wolf is not out yet, so we are waiting for licensor approval on that game still. So until then, the game is not out. However, until then, today we do have a brand new game coming at you, and we'll talk about that right now. Coming at you today on store.iiRcade.com is going to be Rigid Force Redux. This is a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up. It is a very modern shoot-'em-up as well. So we're very excited to have this. So shout out to Com8. Com1 is the studio that brought you this game today. So if you like this game a lot too, go ahead and check them out as well. So with that, you might notice this is the console version of the game, right? So same thing as like a Switch port. However, you might notice on PC or Steam, there is Rigid Force Alpha. That's the original version of this game, which then was redone and remastered to bring you Rigid Force Redux, which is what we have coming at you today. This game has 6 different stages of amazing gameplay. And with that, let's go ahead and get right into this game. Let's dig right into it.
Captain, the station is under attack by an unknown force. Heavy battles reported.
So you got 6 amazing stages of gameplay, which increase heavily in difficulty in the campaign mode. You've also got 2 other modes in Rigid Force Redux, which include arcade mode, which is basically a separate version where you can play separate levels of the campaign. And then after you actually beat the campaign, you do unlock boss rush mode too. So once you see all the bosses, you can unlock boss rush mode. Each of these 3 modes in the game as well do offer easy, medium, and hard difficulty, all including variants in their leaderboards, right? So there are 24 different leaderboards for this game, which is amazing. It's nuts. I love it so much. So yes, so those of you who are shmup junkies and score chasers, this is definitely a game for you. It is a side-scrolling shoot 'em up. So there are elements of vertical, but generally speaking, this is a side-scrolling shoot 'em up. And with that, you get difference in variance with your weapons. So you can pick up different weapon types that do different things. You've got your main lasers that shoot just forward. You've got a more powerful orange kind of beams, which do a little bit more area effect, essentially. But then you've also got the green pickups, right? So the green power-up is going to bounce around. So you'll see it on screen just going nuts, going everywhere. It's amazing. So during gameplay, it's not just a typical side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, right? So even though it's a horizontal shmup, it has different variants in gameplay, along with sometimes verticality too. You are going up and down at times too. It's rare, but it does happen. But along with that, let's go over the controls, right? So Rigid Force Redux is very special in the fact that it uses something called force shards. So force shards are pickups along with those orange, blue, and green pickups to change your weapon type. The force shards are going to add not extra ships necessarily, but extra parts to your ship. So you can pick up to 4 of these, and with that, you can change from left and the right using the A and the C button to basically toggle your force shards backwards, forwards, or into a more powerful focus speed. So if they're all the way to the right side, you'll be shooting forwards in one powerful beam with all of them together. And then if you separate them once, you'll see them split, and then you'll have more of a bigger radius of fire. And then on top of that, you can flip them backwards after that too, and then you can also shoot backwards in one full force, right? So you got 4 different sections for 4 different force shards, right, that you can use. And this is going to come into play a lot. So sometimes there will be enemies in front of you, sometimes they'll be in back of you, sometimes they'll be above you even too, right? So you'll have to figure out the different gameplay types as you go and figure out how to get through and navigate these courses and defeat all of the invading enemies, right? So shooting in the shoot 'em up, right? You actually do have 3 other abilities, right? So you can charge your beams, charge and fire a very powerful shot. This is done by picking up little green energy orbs that you'll find floating throughout the levels after you destroy enemies, objects, things like that throughout the courses. You'll see these, you can charge them. To pick up these energies as well too, there's actually the Y button to attract them towards you. So the attract button is going to pull in all of the energies that you see on screen, so that makes it a lot more easy to pick up, just in case, so you don't have to be going all over the screen and potentially lose a ship in that case too, while you're floating about. Your other button that you have is going to be the Z button for Blade, right? So Blade is actually a force shield, essentially, too. It's called Blade. However, it is actually a shield, essentially, for you to block incoming attacks. This eats up a ton of energy, a big chunk of it, too, so you can't be using this all the time. However, in those really precious moments in boss fights and things where you're just surrounded by bullets and things are coming at you every which way, make sure to use the Blade, right? So it's a fantastic feature. I love it so much. And it is a strategic one at that too. So if you're out of energy, you're out of luck on that one. Thanks for tuning in as always to iiRcade Gamedaze. Make sure that you do power cycle your machines. Update too. You should be power cycling frequently anyway. It's always a good thing to do. Turn it off, turn it on again. It fixes a lot of problems, trust me on that one. But with that, make sure that you're updating to 9.011.001. That'll get you a lot of different features, including a lot of good updates on the back end that you might not notice besides just quality of life things, right? So it's very good for your machine to do this, so I trust you on that one. And it does include the light gun functionality for Sinden light guns. So those are coming to you soon, just waiting on approval for licensor for the game, essentially, right? So we're waiting patiently just like you guys are. So with that, also make sure to check out Rigid Force Redux, available on the store today. 25% off for this weekend only. Remember, that sale ends on Sunday, so you have until Sunday night to pick it up. And that's 11:59 p.m. CST, right? So you're in Chicago time on our time, right? Beyond that, have fun, enjoy. I'll see you guys on the leaderboards, especially Rigid Force Redux this weekend. Until then, game on.
Heavy battles reported.